are the three Latinas who have been candidates for more than once and are eager to win a legislative seat.
It's not just about yourself, it's about the ideas and the people that are behind you.
And for me as a community organizer, authenticity and being able to fight for what one believes in was super crucial. And that's actually how I got involved in electoral politics and then federally as well.
And that I think a lot of people perhaps they don't realize, or they just don't have the time or the energy to invest in helping someone run a campaign. But without that, if we don't make that effort, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have the kind of representation that we need, because good wishes are amazing, but they are not going to get anyone elected. Mm-hmm. It takes money and it takes hard work.
Canadian woman Latin Canadian woman in politics.
Yes.
Okay, what inspired you to make this film? I know this is part of your thesis, but why Latin Canadian in politics?
Thank you, Sinara. First of all, I would like to start saying thank you. Thank you, Sinara. Thank you, aluCine, for this opportunity. And thank you, my characters. Sandra Lozano is here. Andrea Vasquez Jimenez is here. Over there. Without your help, Salvador, I cannot do that. And also my son, Isabel Inclan, helped me to the last edition. So it was a teamwork. And thank you so much. And answer your question, I am journalist, so I used to talk and tell stories. I like to tell stories. Usually I like to tell stories writing more than filming. But when I was doing my Master in Communication and Culture program, it was a joint program in Toronto Metropolitan University and York University. And I always liked politics. So I realized last year when I was doing my project, I realized that, many Latinas are candidates in the municipal election, Ontario election, national federal election. And I found Latin names. So I was doing my research and I found that there is not a story about them. Even though my story is relating to 2018 to 2022. This is the period of the years of the elections, and I found around 14 Latinas being candidates in Ontario and Quebec. Originally, my project included 10 interviews. But my supervisor said, no, it's too much. And thanks for, they said that, I just reduced to 3. Alejandra Bravo, Sandra Lozano, Andrea Vasquez Jimenez. And the criteria was, they had been candidates for more than 3 times. Alejandra Bravo, 5 times. After the 5th time, she won. Actually, she won 1 month before my oral examination last year. She won as our only one Latina councilor for Davenport at City Hall. I want to tell that story because I found that, by the way, even though I talk about what happened with candidates from 2018 to 2022 last year, that story started in the 90s with one Chilean immigrant, Luz Bascuñan, who was the first trustee from the NDP here in Toronto. And she said it's the first Latina trustee elected in Canada. That story started in the 90s. And then some election we see some Latin American women, but I call that it was like a boom. Fine, in the last years, many candidates, Latinas, more than men, Latinas doing, and I think the credit is for them because they are doing the job. Just I put together them, put in the same table and create the conversation. That, okay, let's talk about the glass ceiling, let's talk about the challenges, let's talk about what are you doing if you are mom, if you are taking care of your daughter, and then do your job, and then in addition do a candidate. So it's too much. So just I want to tell the story, and of course I am not filmmaker, so I want just to put them together. It was my homework from the university, but thanks again Salvador, because he was with me and suggesting and put everything together in a better way that I can do it. But yes, I want to put to create that story, and to now as a documentary to put in different festivals, and to give it to them more visibility. Even though they are politicians and they have, of course, they are a public figure, but even though that, if I don't stop and create that story, they will continue doing, and probably nobody will notice, because this is a permanent effort that they are doing that. And of course, for sure, we're gonna see more names, more Latin American names in the listing as a candidate. So I think that it was my contribution to our community, my academic contribution, because my thesis was they are breaking the glass ceiling. So it was lucky that 1 month before my oral examination, Alejandra Bravo won as a counselor. So one professor told me, and she won, and I said yes. I told you. So it was good. Was a good context, but I tried to create the context of what you are bringing in your luggage when you arrive to Canada, and that activists and that everything that it flourished here in Canada as candidates. So I want to stop here, and just if you have another question.
I think that the film is very important, and it's really great. But also I think that the film is about yourself, your resilience, because I know you since you began writing for aluCine, actually. And it's really incredible to see you now becoming a filmmaker through many years of working, right? So congratulations.
Of course, now, because before I am 30 years plus journalist in Mexico and doing here. So, of course, I was writing stories, but now everything is video. So I love documentaries, and I promise I would like to tell more stories. I hope to have the help of Salvador, because when I see the documentaries like yours, congratulations, and all the programming here, I really like to do more, because I want to tell more stories about the kids, about the third generation Latin Americans, what they are thinking, how they feel, something like that, and the drums, the women drummers.
Well, we're here in
I like
us.
it.
Yeah.
So I promise I want to do more stories, and just continue doing journalism and telling stories, and just put the lens and put my pen in that kind of communities and problematics that are around us, and we need to stop and just filming like what you did, and just put in the big screen for the public to analyze that and to realize and to think about that. No? Thank you.
Thank you. I agree with Jorge. I agree with Jorge in that.
Well, I don't know if I have a question. It's just to thank you, to be brave, because in this time, talk about the political or religion is like a taboo. And I think the documentary showed how the Latin woman in political can do it. And I wish the person who helped you with the documentary give you the spectrum to interview more women, because I know personally more than the representation here, and it would be amazing to get all the interview on the documentary and all political view on the documentary. Thank you for being brave to present that.
Thank you. Thank you.
In your opinion, Isabel, in your opinion, what do you tell the Latin woman? In your opinion, how do you say to all Latin women that to give the step to go in the politician in this country?
Thank you, Lumi, for that question. I think, as we can see in the documentary, they face many challenges. So they have family, they have to take care of their family, and also Sandra mentioned about money. So it's not easy to be candidate. So the idea of the story is to show how difficult it is to be a candidate and how proud they should feel after doing a campaign or probably gain or continue with. I asked them if they gonna do it again, and they said maybe yes, maybe no, but for sure I think we're gonna see them again. So it's difficult, it's not easy. This is what I learned from them. It's difficult, it's not easy, but I am sure like more Latinas are waiting, are in the waiting list for those opportunities. And by the way, if you can see, they were candidates from the NDP. I don't want to mention different, or put all the, talk about more about the political parties, but just the NDP, I found candidates from the NDP, no Liberal Party, no Conservative Party. And this is the reality that I found, so I put there, over there, and just for them to realize that, okay, women that are here, Latinas, they know what to do, and just the only thing that they are waiting for the opportunity to do that. So for sure, I think Alanis is over there. She's a lawyer. She's with the close of the remarking close, and I think like her, another generation of Latinas Canadians are preparing to open spaces and to sit down at the legislative bodies. And by the way, Canada, in the international ranking, Canada is in the place 59 for gender equality in parliaments. And the first place is Cuba, Nicaragua, Rwanda, and Mexico. So it's really shame that in this country, we don't have gender equality in the parliament. So, and one of my arguments in the thesis in my master was Latinas are potential for this gender equality. And one by one, we want to show that. Thank you.
Hey!